How's it going, everyone? We are just over a week away from what has turned into one of the most anticipated games of all of 2026. That, of course, is Pearl Abyss's Crimson Desert, a game that has been in development since 2019, but a game that has evolved quite a lot over the last 7 years as well, initially starting off as an MMORPG, then being spun into an open-world single-player action title, and a game that is incredibly ambitious. Now, in this video, I want to highlight some of the key points that you should know before you spend your $70 or $80. As you guys might know, with Crimson Desert, there's so much to go over that we're not going to go into absolutely every single detail about the gameplay specifics and whatnot, just some of the key information, what you're going to get with the standard and deluxe edition as well, and we'll highlight some of the general information. We've uploaded a ton of videos on Crimson Desert, so you can check out a lot of our other videos if you're interested on more specifics. Before I get into the video, I do want to note that if you're looking to pick up Crimson Desert, check out our friends over at greenmangaming.com, as they do have the game discounted 15% off for $59.49 for a Steam code of the game. The deluxe edition is 15% off for $68 as well. You'll just want to use the code MAR15 at checkout. At checkout, the code is MAR15. Use that code, you'll save 15%, and you'll be good to go. But that is for a PC and Steam copy of the game. The game will be available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series as well, and it will have a physical release, so you'll be able to check that out at its regular price point. Crimson Desert is a massive open-world action-adventure. The game has been noted to be even larger in size than Red Dead Redemption 2, and Red Dead Redemption 2's open world is enormous. You'll be able to explore the beautiful yet brutal continent of Pywell, and exploration is going to be a big aspect of this game, and how you explore that world, whether it be on foot, on dragon, so many different ways to actually travel throughout the world, and how you explore this vast world is going to vary. You can go on foot, you can use different mechanics, there are different entities to ride, let's just put it that way, that is going to change how you explore throughout the world, or if you even want to glide throughout it, there's a lot you'll be able to do as far as exploration options. Embark on a journey as the Greymane Cliff and restore what has been lost. Explore uncharted lands, fight against threats that stand in your way, and discover the wonders the world has in store. And discovery exploration, as I said, a big aspect of this game. This is going to be one of those games that, yes, it does have its core narrative, where some people are going to focus on the core narrative from point A to point B. However, everything you can do in the depth of this open world is gargantuan. It has been compared to that of Elden Ring by the head of PR, Will Powers at Pearl Abyss, that if you played Elden Ring, you know that by the time you get to the end of Elden Ring, it's a game that it's very difficult to do absolutely everything in that game unless you have a guide right next to you in your first playthrough. You're gonna miss some things, and you're gonna have a lot that you weren't gonna discover just by naturally playing the game because it's hidden in plain sight. Crimson Desert is gonna have content to that level where, yes, the core story is gonna take you quite a while, but then there's everything else in this open world, and that's gonna take you a significantly longer amount of time. And that's why a single playthrough, it's gonna vary greatly from person to person. There's one person that maybe they'll go through the main story in 40, 50, 60 hours, but then there's somebody that wants to take in all of the aspects of the environment. They want to take in all of the different side quest lines. They want to explore the world as the 3 different playable characters as well. That's going to increase that playtime exponentially and what you're gonna get out of the game. So the playstyles are gonna be different from person to person. Now, as far as that core narrative backdrop, it's nothing that from a premise standpoint is that blowaway, but with games like this, it's all about how you execute the narrative. A devastating ambush in the deep of night by their sworn enemies, the Black Bears, leaves members of the Greymanes dead or scattered across the continent. Cliff, having lost his Greymane comrades, his family in all but name, is determined to reunite with the survivors, rebuild the fallen Greymanes, and reclaim what was lost. But on a journey where alliances are forged, dangers abound, and mysterious factions are uncovered, Cliff will come to realize that an unprecedented threat and a destiny greater than he imagined await him. All of this story will take place in Pywell, an open-world continent filled with mystery, fantasy, and tons to discover. Visit bustling towns and quiet hamlets, venture across vast plains, deserts, and mountains, and explore forgotten ruins, shrines, and other unique landmarks of the continent's distinct regions. Gather resources, craft, hunt, and partake in the various activities of Pywell to also aid in your journey. The world is yours to explore as you will, and there will be many paths for you to uncover, ride various mounts from horses to wolves, even a dragon, and there will be various machines. Scale cliff sides and walls which you can leap from to glide, and go through mystical gates to find yourself in a mysterious realm known as the Abyss. Forge your own combat. The combat in this game is one of the aspects that has so much depth. I think when a lot of people look at various open world action titles, okay, you'll have a skill tree, okay, you'll have a couple of abilities that you can utilize, but in Crimson Desert, it goes a layer above and beyond, where you have different combos that you're going to be able to execute. You could do RKOs, suplexes. This is a lot of what you can do in the combat that offers a lot of variance to it. On the unforgiving battlefield of Crimson Desert, there is no single path to victory. Acquire weapons like swords, spears, and bows, and wield powerful abilities and elemental enhancements. Take advantage of the wide arsenal available to you and create lethal combinations to unleash even greater power. With every strike and move, forge your own way in a world where a split second can decide your fate in fast-paced visceral battles, and face relentless challenges as well. From ruthless warriors to fearsome beasts, there are those in Pywell who will seek your downfall, encounter a diverse array of challenging enemies and bosses in brutal one-on-one duels, large-scale battle clashes, and quick skirmishes, and prevail against the threats that stand in your way. And to face those relentless challenges and restoring the Greymanes to what they were before. Throughout the base camp, you'll have a lot of opportunity to develop and talk to your comrades. And then on top of that, what you do in this base camp as far as sending out your companions into quests that will acquire you new gear, new items that will once again be able to be used to improve your camp and improve your weapons and items and things of that nature. There's a lot of depth into the content availability that you don't have to invest into all of it. But if you're somebody that wants to get the most out of Crimson Desert, certainly you'll want to take advantage of all of the different things that you'll be able to do. Now, as it's been made abundantly clear, Crimson Desert is a massive, massive game. Pywell is a huge world to explore, and sometimes with an open world game, that worries me. I think about a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla that was so large in scale, but ultimately the content in the game became fairly mundane. With Crimson Desert, it looks like there's been a lot of attention to detail put in the different regions of Pywell, the missions, and all of the different content that you'll be able to explore and find, offering depth to the game. Now, Pywell itself, as I mentioned, is a gigantic world, even larger in size than Red Dead 2. And you could say Red Dead Redemption 2 came out 8 years ago at this point, but guess what? Red Dead Redemption 2 is a massive game, and I think being bigger than that, that's a fairly large world that would make me think, okay, let's see how this world is actually created and if it has depth to it. Well, Pywell itself is a world with a ton of side quests, a ton of secrets to explore, and 5 different regions that have variety to them. You have Hernand, a region rich with mountains and rivers, and the starting point of your adventure. Then you have Paloon, the northernmost region of Pywell and the homeland to the Greymanes. You have Demonis, the center of Pywell's political and military stage. Delicia, a region at the forefront of science and technology. And then you have the Crimson Desert, an arid expanse of red sands and lawlessness as well. All will offer it a wide variety of content, different quest lines for you to explore. And remember, this optional contest and the various content that you could do within the world, while the main story is going to center around Cliff, you will have 2 other playable main characters with their own combat styles and their own skills and abilities that you'll be able to utilize as well. They also went in depth on the combat availability and what you'll have at your disposal, alongside a multitude of different weapons and weapon styles and abilities to utilize. The combat in combos and execution seems to be one of the elements they put a lot of emphasis in. And if you're expecting this game to be an open world title that you could just go in and mow down everything in sight, that's not going to be the case. This game is designed in a different way. There is no real leveling system in the sense that you beat an enemy, gain XP, gain level up, and you just go through that cycle. Throughout the open world, you'll find these artifacts that you will be able to upgrade yourself and upgrade your abilities, and you will have a skill tree you can utilize. However, that is optional content. If you just go through the main story and you don't focus on doing a lot of that content to make the game easier for yourself, you're gonna have a pretty difficult time. Now, on top of that, there are no difficulty options in this game. There's one static difficulty option, but the difficulty is something that you can manipulate depending on how much of the content you do in the open world. For example, you can find the items to make yourself stronger. You can end up finding the items that give you a second chance in battle, where if you die, it'll revive you and you'll have another opportunity to go through that. Those are the options that'll be available to you to help you modify the difficulty within the game, but there won't be a normal, easy, hard preset that you'll go to. Rather, you'll have to actually explore the open world and then use the elements of that open world to tailor the difficulty to the level you want, and I actually think that's a cool way to do it. Look, I'm somebody that, even though I've completed my fair share of Souls-like games, I'm not crazy about my super challenging games, and this by no means is a Souls-like game. They've even been abundantly clear to reiterate that it's not. It is very much an action game. They won't even say it's an open-world action RPG, but I think most would agree that there are a lot of RPG elements within the game, but it is very much focusing on the action, but it's not going to be something that holds your hand in the sense of making it super, super easy. There is going to be that depth to gameplay, and for you to interact with this open world to give more nuance into the gameplay options that are available. And that's gonna vary depending on how people interact with this open world. Maybe for some it will be too overwhelming, but I think for people that want a large-scale open world game to get into, it's gonna make it incredibly rewarding to go through all of this content and then also have that content give you meaningful rewards to the open world. I think sometimes when we play these large open world games, yes, there's a lot of content, but what does that content matter? Is that content any meaningful? Should I do that content? Will it be a rewarding experience? From what we've seen out of Crimson Desert thus far, it seems like, first of all, it looks incredible from the scale of exploring the content and the different regions available, but also from a reward standpoint, you're getting a worthwhile return into the game for doing said content as well. So we'll see how all of that turns out, but what we're seeing thus far has looked incredibly promising. I'll also say this: when talking about the open world, this is a game that feels like there's a lot of depth into a lot of the smaller areas of an open world that makes an open world feel more alive and real. The NPCs having their different interactions and how they react to specific situations. Things going on in the town that don't have impact to what Cliff is doing. Yes, Cliff will be on his own journey, but shouldn't a town be interacting with each other in a different way, even if Cliff isn't there or Cliff isn't directly interacting with them? I think elements like that add a significant layer to an open world that gives it a lot of depth and nuance that a lot of open world games do lose. But the design of the open world is something that they've put so much emphasis in that does make me incredibly excited. The open world and the combat in this game have been the two standout elements to me that have added a layer of excitement for me personally. But beyond that, there's so much more to this game as well. The different puzzles that interact with the other abilities that you have at your disposal, and we've heard that some of those puzzles can be a little bit challenging. On top of that, you're talking about all of the different exploration elements that you have, more of the combat elements. There's just so much to this game. The weather effects and how you can utilize the weather effects to parlay into different combat effects as well. You don't see that quite often. It's all of these elements interacting with one another that creates a more engaging open world that I haven't seen as much, especially at this scale, from a lot of other games. Yeah, maybe you could say Red Dead 2 as a game to bring up again with that level of detail, but Red Dead 2 still stands out as one of the most compelling open world games that I've ever played, even 8 years later, and Crimson Desert is looking to rival it at that level, especially with the depth of content that is available. I'll also say this: as far as performance of the game goes, we've heard that the PC version is very, very well optimized. We still don't have full clarity on the console version, but we have heard that we're gonna get more clarity before the game officially launches. Now, we've heard that there is a a quality and a performance mode, to me, whenever you have a quality and a performance mode, the performance mode is usually 60 frames per second, and we know that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to have added enhancements, especially with PSSR 2.0. The reality is, if you look at the system requirements as well, the system requirements are fairly tame, with minimum requirements of a Ryzen 5 2600X, an Intel Core i5 8500, 16 gigs of RAM, an RX 6500 XT, GTX 1060, 135 gigabytes for the storage space. Recommended being a Ryzen 5 5600, an Intel Core i5 11600K, 16 gigs of RAM, RX 6700 XT, and an RTX 2080. That's not that intensive. Obviously, if you're looking to play this game 4K maxed out 60 FPS, okay, that'll be a little bit different, but I'm actually fairly confident that the PlayStation 5 is going to be able to push this game fairly well, and I'm talking about the base PS5. I'm actually incredibly confident about with PSSR 2. Crimson Desert's gonna look really good on the PS5 Pro, but I know as far as consoles are concerned, most people are on the base console, so let's hope the base console performance is quite good. And then when you talk about the Xbox Series S, yeah, I don't even know how it's gonna run on there, but, you know, for most of us, I think you're either on the PS5, PS5 Pro, or you're playing on PC. Speaking of which, if you're playing on PC, Green Man Gaming, go ahead and check that out. That's the spot to go if you do want to get the game a little bit cheaper, but that'll do it for me. There's so much to this game. We could talk about this game for an hour as far as all of the nuances and all of the specifics, but I want to give you guys a general overview. And before we wrap up this video, I do want to note that the base game will include the Crimson Desert full title, and then you'll also get the pre-order exclusive bonus of the Caelid Shield. The Deluxe Edition, it's not something that's super consequential. You'll get the pre-order bonus as well, of course, the base game, and you'll get the deluxe pack, the Kairos plate set, the Balgrin shield, and the Exclera horse attack set as well. It's nothing that consequential. If you want to spend the extra $10, go ahead, but if you want to get the base game, that's fine as well. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Your excitement level for Crimson Desert. Sound off with all of your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.